Svetlana stood at her kitchen window, absently stirring her coffee. Beyond the glass, an October drizzle blurred the world into a watercolor wash of grey and gold. It had been a month since the day Igor packed his things and left for his 25-year-old colleague Christina, a month that had felt both endless and fleeting. First came the pain, sharp, cutting, stealing her breath. Then came the numbness. And now there was a strange lightness, as if someone had lifted from her shoulders a heavy pack she'd carried for years without realizing how much it weighed. The doorbell cut through her thoughts. She glanced at the clock, 9:30 on a Saturday morning. Who could it be? She opened the door and froze. Igor stood there, disheveled, red-eyed, wearing a crumpled shirt she had once given him. "Sveta, can I come in?" His voice was hoarse, weary. "What are you doing here?" She didn't move from the doorway. "I need to talk to you. Please." She hesitated, then silently stepped aside. Igor walked in, stopping in the middle of the living room as if unsure what to do next. "Coffee?" she offered, more from politeness than kindness. "Yes, thanks." She poured a cup and set it down on the table. Igor sat on the couch, the one where they'd once curled up watching movies. Now he looked like a stranger in the room. "I made a mistake, Sveta." She settled into the armchair opposite him. "Which part? Leaving or showing up here now?" He winced. "Leaving. It was a terrible mistake. I realize what I've done. Christina, she's not who I thought she was. And who did you think she was?" Her tone was free of anger or sarcasm, only tired curiosity. "I thought she understood me, that with her I felt young again, wanted. Remember how we drifted apart lately? You were always busy, with work, the house, your parents. And she listened to me, laughed at my jokes, admired me. And what changed in a month?" He rubbed his face. "Everything. She's different when it comes to real life. Spoiled, demanding, always wanting to go out, buy things. And worst of all, she doesn't really understand me. Do you know what she said when I told her about my father, about how hard it was losing him? Why are you still sad? That was ages ago." Svetlana said nothing, simply listened. "Do you remember how you reacted?" He went on. "You just hugged me and stayed there until I cried it out. You understood without words." "Igor," she said softly, "I don't think the problem is that Christina's different. The problem is you went looking in her for what you'd lost in our marriage, and instead of trying to rebuild it here, you ran to the first person who gave you the illusion of understanding." "You're right." His head dropped. "I was a coward. Easier to run to someone new than work on us." "And what do you want now?" He looked up, eyes full of hope. "I want to come back. I want us to try again. I've changed, Sveta. I know now I've lost the most precious thing I had." Svetlana stood, walked to the window. The rain had grown heavier. "You know what's strange?" she said without turning. "I thought I'd be happy to hear those words. A month ago, I'd have given anything for you to say them. And now? I'm not sure. This month has taught me a lot about myself, about us. Igor, we've been living like neighbors for the past 2 years, each in our own world with our own problems. We stopped talking, really talking. We stopped caring." She turned back to him. "You say you've changed in a month. People don't change that quickly. What's changed is that you finally realize the value of what you lost." "That's not the same thing. Sveta, please, I'm ready to work on us. We can go to a therapist, we can start over." "Start over," she repeated thoughtfully. "Do you know what I did this month?" He shook his head. "I cried every day for a week straight. Then I started going out, met up with friends I hadn't seen in years. I signed up for yoga. I read books I'd been putting off for later. I remembered I love painting, bought canvases and paints." She sat back down. "And you know what I realized? Somewhere along the way I lost myself. I lived only in roles. Wife, daughter, employee. But where was I? The real me. Sveta, I don't understand what you're getting at. I'm saying the problem wasn't just you. I stopped being interesting too. To myself, to you, to anyone. I became a function. And if we just go back to how things were, nothing will change. But we could change everything. We could be better. We could, she agreed. Just not together. What do you mean? Igor, I'm not angry with you. In fact, I'm grateful for what happened. Grateful? His surprise was plain. Yes, your leaving was a slap in the face that woke me up. You woke up in another woman's arms. I woke up alone. And you know what? I like my awakening better. He sat in silence, absorbing her words. You say you want to come back because you've realized what you lost, but I'm not the Svetlana you lost. I've changed, and I don't want to go back to the version of me I was in our marriage. What if we built something new, not go back, but create something different? Svetlana thought for a moment. Outside, the rain had nearly stopped. Sunlight was breaking through the clouds. You know what always bothered me about you? She said at last. What? You've never been able to be alone. You always needed someone beside you to affirm your worth. First it was me, then Christina, now me again. But you've never learned to value yourself, to find meaning in your own company. That's not true. Igor, when was the last time you did something just for yourself? Not for work, not for family, not to impress anyone. Just for you. He opened his mouth, but no answer came. See? And in this past month, I've learned how wonderful it is to be with myself. Not bored, not lonely, but enjoying my own company. Sveta, is it really over between us? She looked at him with unexpected tenderness. Igor, we had 8 years together. That was an important part of my life, and I don't regret it. We taught each other a lot, we supported and loved each other. But now we're at an age where we can still start over, and I think we should. Apart. They were quiet for several minutes. And what about the divorce? The apartment, our things? We'll handle it like adults. I don't want a war. It's just time to let each other go. And if a year from now we've both changed and want to try again? She smiled, for the first time in their talk. If we've truly changed, we won't want to go back to the old. We'll want something new, something real. With other people? Maybe. Or maybe we'll find we're happy alone. The important thing is to be honest with ourselves. He joined her at the window. They stood together watching the wet street as the first passers-by appeared. I'm scared, he admitted. I was too a month ago, but the fear passes. What's left is curiosity. What comes next? You don't even want to try? Igor, are you ready for the fact that I've changed? That I won't quietly wait for you to come home late? That I won't swallow your little jabs about my hobbies? That I'll speak my mind even if it clashes with yours? See, you want the Svetlana who was convenient. She's gone. His shoulders sagged. So, I've lost everything. No, she said gently. You've been given the chance to find your true self. But first you need to leave Christina. And be alone. Really alone. Not looking for someone new, but looking for yourself. Do you think I can do it? If you want to. But it has to be your choice. Not to win me back. Not to find a replacement. They were silent again. Sveta, I did love you. I still do. I know. And I loved you too. But love isn't just feelings. It's being there, supporting, growing together. We lost that. And instead of fighting for it, you took the easy way out. What if I hadn't left? If we'd tried to fix things? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe we'd have kept living like strangers. Maybe we'd have found our way back. But it doesn't matter now. What matters is this moment. And what's happening now? We're saying goodbye, with understanding, with respect. His eyes brimmed with tears. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry we couldn't be honest sooner. But regret is just another weight we don't need to carry. She hugged him, simply, like a friend. Be happy, Igor. Find yourself. Learn to be alone. And then if you want, find someone with whom you can be your true self. And you? What will you do? Live. Learn about myself. Paint. Maybe travel. I've always wanted to see Prague, remember? We'll see what life brings. Could we stay in touch? As friends? Not for now. We need time to let go of the past. But maybe, in a year or two, we can meet for coffee and talk about our new lives. At the door he turned. Thank you for this talk. You could have yelled, thrown me out. But you... Anger's a waste of energy, Igor. I have better uses for mine. When the door closed, Svetlana returned to the window. The rain had stopped, and sunlight lit the wet asphalt. Somewhere deep inside, she felt a hint of sadness. A whole chapter of her life was ending. But stronger was the joy that she had stayed true to herself, resisted the easy road back to the wrong life. She picked up a brush and turned to the easel by the window. On the canvas was a half-finished landscape, an old park after rain, with sunlight breaking through the leaves. Exactly what she saw outside now. Life went on. New, uncertain, but hers. 3 months later. Svetlana sat in a small cafe downtown, waiting for her friend Masha. They were meeting to plan a long-dreamed-of trip to Europe, something they'd always put off for someday. Sorry I'm late! Masha burst in like a whirlwind, tossing her coat onto a chair. It's fine, I just got here, Svetlana lied. In truth, she'd arrived half an hour early, not out of nervousness, but because she loved sitting there, watching people, thinking. You look amazing! Masha scanned her up and down. Thinner, tanned. And there's something different. You're glowing! Svetlana smiled. Yes, she felt different. She'd started art classes, begun learning Italian, taken a short solo trip along the Golden Ring. Most of all, she had stopped fearing solitude. You know, she told Masha, I think I finally understand what it means to be happy. Met someone? Yes, myself. They laughed, but Svetlana was serious. She had truly met herself, the woman she'd been before marriage, and the one she could be after. Just then, a familiar figure walked into the cafe. Igor, alone. He looked better than he had that October morning, more composed, calmer. Their eyes met. He nodded. She nodded back. Nothing more. That's Igor, Masha whispered. Do you think he'll come over? I doubt it, Svetlana replied calmly, not turning. We each have our own road now. Doesn't it hurt to see him? Svetlana thought. Hurt? No. A little sad? Yes. But it was a gentle sadness. For what had been good, not bitterness for what had been bad. Masha, I'm grateful to him. Without what he did, I might have kept living half asleep. Now I'm truly alive. Every day something new. Every day an opening. Plans for the future? Plenty. Italy in the spring, a new gallery show. I want to exhibit my work, maybe even change jobs to something more creative. And your love life? Wonderful. I'm with someone who understands me, supports me, loves me as I am. Who? Myself, Svetlana laughed. And I'm serious. Until I learned to be happy alone, what was the point of looking for someone else? If I meet the right person, sure. But now I'll choose from joy, not fear of being alone. You've gotten so wise. Not wise, just honest. Mostly with myself. As they left the cafe, Svetlana overheard Igor on the phone. No, Mom, I'm not looking for anyone yet. I need time for myself. I'm finally learning to be alone. She smiled. Maybe he was starting to find his true self too. Outside, the December sun gleamed over the snow, turning the city into a fairy tale. Svetlana walked home thinking about how much had changed in just a few months. Yes, she had lost her husband, her old life, her stability. But she had gained something far more precious, her true self. At home, a clean canvas and paints awaited her. Today, she wanted to capture a winter morning, bright, crisp, full of possibility. Life was only